Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Performance E Streaming. It's Thursday night, and that means one thing. It's time for the ANZCAR Cup here at Phoenix Raceway, and we are here for the final round of the season, ladies and gentlemen. Race 36 of 36. It is the final race. Who is going to get the championship tonight? It is down to Andrew Dyson, Neil Pearson, Dave Douglas, Ruben Phelps. Any four of those drivers can take out the championship crown this season. And we are going to be finding out which of those drivers can do it here tonight. I'm Mr. Carl Wilkinson with you. Joining me up here in the booth is Mr. Mark Johansson. Mark, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good. Looking forward to tonight. As you said, mate, four drivers in the chase still. And it really, when you stop and look at it, we've got two drivers that are really strong here, Dave Douglas being one. And there's three other drivers, Dyson, Pearson. I guess you throw some marbles against the wall with names on it and see who lands first.
Yeah, it's going to be a really close one tonight. All four of those drivers have got some form here at Phoenix, so it's going to really narrow it up. And Dave is a particular driver that's quite good here, so this could come out in his favour. But you've got to get to the line first to make the finish. We're also joined by Mr. Matty Hunter, doing all the camera work in the background. How you going, Matt?
Yeah, going good. Yep, looking forward to this one. Should be a good fight.
Absolutely. Just quickly glancing at the temperatures, and it's a balmy 27 degrees Celsius over in Phoenix, Arizona, and that means 30-degree track temperature, and that's going to be a horrible feeling out there tonight. Those rear tyres are going to start screaming after about 5 or 6 laps, and it's all going to be about keeping those tyres cool and in the right working temperature tonight. So let's go to the starting grid for this, the final round of the playoff season, the final round of the season indeed. And taking pole position is Andrew Dyson. He is up there next to Neil Pearson. So they've started off the race in a perfect fashion right up at the front. Dave Douglas sits in third position with Toby Stent in fourth on row number 2. Row number 3 sees Stevie Dubb and Lachlan Urquhart lining up next to each other. On the fourth row, it is the fourth member of the playoff season championship battle as Ruben Phelps next to Joshua Carroll-Walden. Row number 5 sees the Black Arrows, Jamie Dan Curvis and Norman Clark lining next to each other. Row number 6 is an SRM lockout with Maddie Ray and Brenton Henderson. Row number 7, Ben Henker and Brad Fenley lining up next to each other. Phil Otto and Riley Curtis on row number 8. And Derek Jacobs and Noddy Tompkin make up our row number 9 tonight. 18 cars out there. That's plenty for Phoenix.
Yeah, it definitely is. We've spoken about the playoff guys, but there's still guys there that are in a chance with winning this race. And one of them is starting from row 2. And the other one is starting a little bit further back. Row 2, Toby Stent, keep an eye on him. And JCW from the Atari guy, keep an eye on him also.
Yeah, absolutely. Toby coming off a win here last night in the Xfinity cars. So some good form from him. He's going to be hoping to repeat that here tonight. But they are coming around. Pace car pulls in and we've got the long back straight to go because, well, New Phoenix has the start-finish line right across what used to be one of the main corners. Just coming out of turn 4 nowadays is the start-finish line. So into the section they come towards the giant cactus, greeting them at the start-finish line. And we go green for tonight's race. I'm going to shut up. Let's enjoy these cars roaring away here at Phoenix. Andrew Dyson keeps the lead. Dave Douglas works his way up into second. Ruben Phelps, the biggest mover in that start, moving his way up into third position. Battling it out with Neil Pearson for a moment, but he's just started fighting with Stevie Dubb as well. Neil Pearson coming back alive out of that section and working his way up into second again. Really fighting with Dave Douglas at the moment. Side by side, they are going into turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, look, don't read anything into these first couple of laps. Look for the first pit stop. The guys will come down pit lane if they get a chance early. But on fuel-wise, Carl, they should be getting around 75 to 80 laps out of a tank of fuel here. Oh, and we see in the background there, Lachlan Urkleo get a little bit loose out of turn 2.
Yeah, car's already starting to get hot. Even in this second lap, the rear tyres just lighting up there on Urquio. Managed to save it. Very well done indeed from Lockie. But we've got a car going around just outside the dogleg. And I think it was Ben Henker. No, sorry, it was not Ben. It was Riley Curtis, sorry, running a new paint job tonight. And he has taken a big lick into the wall in this early stage. Just going onto the dogleg. Car has just gone unsettled and he's gone into that wall. Watch this, just gets onto the dogleg a little bit too soon. Car bounces, loses rear downforce as that rear diffuser just loses the air and it just pitches Riley into the wall. You've got to be so careful in this car at Phoenix because it's almost like driving around at gunpoint. You never know when it's going to go off, but it will go off at some stage. You've got to be just so careful.
Yeah, definitely right there, Carl. Some people have described it like driving on ice and very skaty. You've got to bring those tyres up to temp easy, otherwise they just go to marshmallow. Talking about tyres, the tyres are going to be the big thing here tonight. My little spies down the track have said that they're good for about 5 to 10 laps, and then the rear ends are absolutely rubbish.
Yeah, I got some experience of that recently when we were running with the Warriors here a couple of weekends back, Mark, and I just found the car was so unpredictable, especially across the start-finish line. So easy for it just to snap, and it caught me out in the race around about lap, sort of late in a stage as well. It was sort of about 20 or 30 laps into a stint, and all of a sudden, back end just snapped from nowhere. And it is a really tricky track in this current generation of Cup car because, as I said, it just snaps on you all of a sudden. It's very hard to recover from those moments.
Yeah, definitely right. We can see here now the top 4, or the top 5, including Stevie Dubb, have decided to stay on the track. They're not using that dog leg. The only person there in that top 6 cars that was using the dog leg then is JCW. He's the only one that's been game to venture down through the dog leg. And as I say that, they all decide to cut the dog leg.
They listen to us, I swear, and just want to make liars out of us. Neil Pearson keeping it up high, though, so interesting to see. He's not willing to sort of drop it down this early. And it can affect the tyre wear as well, because when you're dropping on that dog leg, it just slides the car a little bit, can heat up the tyres a little bit quicker and just cause them to wear slightly quicker too. So just running the track as it is can give you a little bit better tyre life in the long run, but it can also cost you a little bit of time as well. However, we just saw there from Dave Douglas, it just cost him time as he got a little bit loose going onto the dogleg, similar to Riley Curtis, and he's dropped back behind Toby Stent now.
Yeah, definitely not a good thing, but it's still a long race. Only lap 10 of 150, so we've still got 140 to go, and it's definitely calmed down a little bit up the front here now. But we can see there 3 wide between JCW, Dave Douglas and Stevie Dubb.
That Douglas car doesn't look happy there going for the corner. It looked like it was the back was wanting to step around on him.
It's not looking stable out there at the moment for a lot of these cars. I just looked back. We've lost Derek Jacobs from the race, unfortunately. He got caught out with, it looked like he just got caught out, just the back end stepped out on him and he ended up going into the wall and his night was over and done with. So a lot of these drivers just very much on the edge of the car, wanting to let go of them and really holding on for dear life, as we see JCW looking to make the move on Douglas right now. And Dave is just dropping like a stone through the field as it is at the moment. Is he just easing off a little bit to try and have another attack later on? Is he just trying to get the tyres cooled down a little bit now so he can get back on the attack? Or is he just struggling?
It looks like he is starting to struggle, Carl. I've been down and I've spoken to a couple of drivers, And there's one team that has told me, don't worry about the way we are in the first stage. Once we can get in and get a changes done on those cars, apparently they reckon their cars are rocket ships. So we'll wait and see if that comes to the forefront. And Dave Douglas into the back of JCW there, giving him a real push around. Oh, he's got him, and we're going to see a caution. Oh, Lachlan into the JCW.
Lachlan Urquio right into JCW there. What's going on there? They got really close to each other. I think Dave was right under the rear spoiler of JCW. Just gave him a little nudge. And I wonder if JCW just got a little bit loose going into that corner, because it just looked like he just checked up a bit on Dave. And then they sort of got connected going through the corner. And then Dave tried for a little bit of a bump and run, but it didn't really work and caused a big check up behind. And then unfortunately, Lachlan Urquio had nowhere to go in that and got heavily caught up.
Yeah, just as we're watching that, I can tell you everyone is down pit lane except for Noddy Tompkins. He stayed out.
Okie dokie. So, Phil Otto got caught there. JCW just looking to spin the car and just caught Phil Otto, who was sneaking around the side. And yeah, that was a nasty incident there and caught a lot of people in that accident. And it's a tricky thing here at Phoenix is there are some spots of the track where it is very wide open, but once you're in that sort of back straight, it is extremely narrow and easy for an accident to happen if there are a couple of cars close by, as it looks like Toby Stent just beat Neil Pearson out of the pit lane there.
Yeah, I can tell you, Carl, everyone took tyres, and there was some people stationary for a little time making those changes. So let's see if that team has those rocket ships under them.
We'll find out in this stint as Noddy pulls it into pit lane into a nice wide open pit lane as well. Not a bad decision to make because you've got a lot less cars harassing you then, and you can just easily cruise into your pit stall without too much concern. Big thing is going to be looking out for those cars that got damage and seeing if they can get back out on track. Phil Otto, quite a lot of damage to the right-hand side, and the wheel looks pretty badly damaged on that one. Urquio as well, a lot of damage on that car. JCW is back out there. He sort of got away relatively unscathed, despite being T-boned by Urquio. It sort of all went into the passenger side door, luckily. So that should leave him relatively okay. And Riley Curtis is coming for some more repairs as well after his little clip into the wall in the early stages. This is a good thing for Riley Curtis. It just gives him that opportunity to come down the lane, get some repairs done, because he was sort of stuck out there in a horrible position after that little mistake earlier in the race. So 17 laps into this race, and we've had our first caution. And, 133 to go. I'm sure we've not seen the last of those dreaded yellow flags.
No, I think we'll see a few more. I would say most of these guys now have done a slight change to the setup. Our main contenders, Pearson and Dyson off the front row. Dave Douglas has dropped down to 9th, and Ruben Phelps has dropped down to 11th. So we'll see if they have an answer and can get back through the field quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a reminder, if you're just joining us a little bit late in this final race of the playoffs, it's down to track position. Points don't matter. So it is who has the fastest car tonight, who has the best race tonight, take out the championship for 2023. And you've got to say, DPR are looking strong. Up at the front again. And, we know they've been extremely hard to beat this season. Can they do it once again tonight? We'll find out in 132 laps time. To the restart zone they come. Dyson in the lead, the 41 leading away. Neil Pearson on the high side as they started this race. Watch out for Toby Stent on the low line. He's going to be hungry for a win just to show what he could have done in this season. And away they go, back to green flag racing here at Phoenix.
everyone makes it through the dog leg nice and cleanly. First time we're on the restart. So that's one good thing.
Yeah, so easy to loop the car on cold tyres through that dogleg section and cause a big, big moment, but they are getting away nice and cleanly. You see Douglas and Phelps down there trying to work their way up, down in 7th and 9th position at the moment. They're going to want to work their way up closer to the front of the field, get themselves in a position where they're less likely to be caught up in any silly incidents as well. Of course, best place to be in a race is right at the front because there's less chance of an accident happening for you in those first few laps, and that's what Dyson's going to be looking for at the moment. Meanwhile, Toby Stent's putting Neil Pearson under pressure, trying to get underneath him, and Toby Stent could be in a prime position here tonight because he can absolutely go aggressive, and I doubt that Dyson and Pearson will want too much of that aggression tonight. They're going to be thinking about their race with Douglas and Phelps rather than the race victory, I imagine.
Yeah, I think that they're just going to race hard and clean, and I don't think they'll fight too hard to stay out the front. Again, as you said, Carl, you've just got to finish in front of the other person you're racing. So we'll see what happens. Just let's hope we don't have a repeat. I think it was Talladega between the two DPR cars.
Yeah, they have had a couple of moments this season. Their teammates making contact and having awkward moments, and Atlanta as well. They had a close call when they were bump drafting, and it caused the two cars to end up in the wars and out of the race victory. So they're going to be hoping not to have a repeat of that, but I'm sure that will be in their minds as Toby Stent works his way up into second here ahead of Neil Pearson. And don't forget, Toby Stent, he was one of those drivers that was looking to get into the playoff season. Just unfortunately, family matters came up for him, so he had to withdraw. And it was a shame because he'd had a decent season all year long, put up a very good fight, and was looking to be one of the drivers that was going to be really putting the pressure on to the DPR drivers.
Yeah, definitely was, mate. I just want to make a shout out to the driver of the 81 car. It's the last time we're going to see him in any form of sim racing for a little while. He's actually been accepted into the Royal Australian Army, so he's off to serve our country. And I'll say to him right now, thanks for your service, mate. And I personally wish you all the best. You just got to get through recruit school, and then fun begins.
Absolutely, a hard task indeed, and a very hard job to do indeed. So good luck, Miss Brendan Henderson. Very well done indeed as well, getting into recruit school. It's not the easiest thing to do, and look, good luck for the future. We look forward to seeing you back in a race car in some stage in the future as well.
Yeah, he'd definitely be backwards and forwards. It's pretty good life there now with the accommodation. You can set up your own stuff. So yeah, but it's going to be a good life for him.
It's good to see number 8 of Jamie Nankervis out there as well. Good to see him back in racing colours and back out on track as well. In tonight's race as well, good to see the numbers tonight because we were expecting a few people just to shy away a little bit from this one because of the championship battle, but it's the opportunity tonight to get a decent result because, as I said, I'm sure the championship contenders are going to be a little bit less aggressive tonight, and it can be your option to work yourselves into a good race position tonight here at Phoenix. And trying his best at the moment on Ruben Phelps, really battling hard with the number 06 of Ruben Phelps, as we see Dave Douglas and Matty Ray fighting it out with each other as well. Side by side they go down towards the back straight, and they are battling their way up towards the top step as well. And looks like Dave Douglas's car's come alive a bit after those tweaks, and it's working a little bit better now that he's been down pit lane, changed the tyre pressure, changed the bump on the suspension, and it seems to be working a little bit better. And the same goes for Ruben Phelps as well. He's putting the move on Dave Douglas right now. Sprang out of nowhere as Douglas was trying to get past his teammate Matty Ray. Ruben Phelps has come in for the attack and save and is putting Dave Douglas under all kinds of pressure going into turns 3 and 4 side by side. Phelps will be able to cut across the dogleg now and make a nice bit of speed on Dave Douglas, and this should get him a little bit closer, and just got to get on the brakes, get in the right braking area, and he can make that move up into 6th position.
This is definitely some good racing, door-to-door racing here between these two, and they'll be racing hard with each other, and I know that neither of them will want to touch the other one, and if it does happen, it's only because they've misjudged it by a hair, and there'll be apologies going left, right, and centre over the incoms in the race.
Yeah, Ruben's in a bit of an awkward spot now because he's been squeezed tight, and that has cost him that speed, and he's just lost that position to Dave Douglas. Dave did a stellar job of defending there, kept Ruben right on the low line, and that's heated those tyres up a little bit too much, and it's going to force him to drop back, and look at how much he's losing. Joshua Carroll-Walden sails past, and Jamie Curvis is looking to make the move as well. Up the front, Toby Stent is putting all kinds of pressure on the leader, Andrew Dyson, at the moment, and Toby will not give up. He is a very hard racer and will go for the move, which he does, down into 3 and 4. And looking to make the move now, he's going to have that lower line, similar to what we saw with Ruben Phelps last time out. Can he make this work in the Natari car, the 189? Looking to put the pressure on. Dyson's holding up nicely. He's taking a slightly wider line at the moment, and that gives Stent a good exit. Dyson will get a bit more speed running that higher line. Stent's just got to get on the brakes perfectly here and move in front of Dyson. He just needs to slide up ahead of Dyson now to make the move, which he does out of turn 4. Beautiful pass position for the lead. Toby Stent on Andrew Dyson.
Yeah, great setup by Toby there. Worked on it for a couple of laps, but we've just seen that last shot before he got that move done as he come down through the dogleg. It really bounced hard coming down through the dip in that dogleg. So hopefully he's going to be able to settle that down a little bit better, and now that he's got the lead, and just concentrate on moving forward.
Yeah, the DPR car's looking pretty settled at the moment. Will their race come back to them later in the stint? We've seen this with their setups. Not always the fastest in a short run, but when it comes to long run pace, they have been almost untouchable this season. That's what they're going to be hoping for tonight, and they've got a good chance of taking out a 1-2-3 finish as well. Stevie Dub on form here tonight, sitting in 4th position at the moment, just following Neil Pearson and keeping up the speed as well. And Stevie Dub's one of those drivers that is very good here at Phoenix as well. Veteran to the series as well. One of the most starts of anybody, I think, in the ANZCAR series in the 98. And a really hard racer as well. Will absolutely make you work for every time you have to get past him.
Yeah, definitely. And we just seen there Dave Douglas on the back of Matty Ray, but he's just dropped off a little bit now, maybe heating those tyres up a little bit too much, giving him a rest, and looking for another attack in a few laps.
Yeah, you've got to be patient around Phoenix. It's an awkward track to run on sometimes because it feels like you're going as slow as possible and unable to really get anything out the car. There's a lot of off-throttle moments, there's a lot of braking moments, and there's a long steering section as well as you go through 1 and 2. It's an endless corner, it feels like. It goes on forever, and you're itching to put your foot back on the accelerator. If you do it too soon, you're going to end up in the wall or facing the wrong direction. It is a really tricky track to get right, as we see Nolly Tompkins dropping a lap there as the leaders sail past him. And he's going to be hoping for a caution in the near future so he can get back on that lead lap and get back to speed.
And Noddy's another one that's taken some of the time off this year through illness, but it's he's been back out running again, and he's got his eye back in and just slowly getting back into it. So good on him for getting out there and having have a run at this place. We just see that car bouncing through the dog leg there.
Yeah, it's such an awkward section of track. We had the Xfinity race here last night. And caution flag is out. So that caution that Noddy Tompkins was hoping for has emerged. Riley Curtis, and what's happened here? Riley Curtis has had a big spin, and unfortunately Brad Fenley has had nowhere to go. Riley Curtis has had, well, similar to what happened to me a while back in the Warriors race, just through 3 and 4, I think it was, and big snap on the car, and was not able to save it. Just snaps, turns up into the wall, heavy contact on the nose, and Brad Fenley, he thought he might be able to squeeze past it by going up top, but did not have the room in the end. Big accident there for 2 cars. Brad Fenley is going to have a big repair bill on that one as well, unfortunately. Just the innocent victim in that accident.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. And I'll tell you, everyone bar 3 cars are down pit lane. I'll keep an eye on that and see what goes on with tyres and different things.
Yeah, Norman Clark sticking it out there. Nod Duncan and Lachlan Urquio as well, sticking it out there because they will have Lucky Dog and want to get the wave around, of course. But Norman Clark sticking it out there, trying something different here. Done about 26 laps on those tyres. Is he trying something very, very different here? He's going to be losing a bit of pace on the restart. He should have some decent pace just as the flag drops, but he won't have the pace overall. But he'll have an extra set of tyres up his sleeve and a bit of track position as well.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but Stevie Dub has lost, I think, 3 places on that pit stop. So a little bit of a long one for him.
Just losing a bit of time coming down pit road, and I'm wondering if a few people decided to roll the dice a little bit, try just 2 sets of tyres maybe. That could well be the case, as I think Brenton Henderson and Matty Ray just had a slightly better stop. So yes, Brenton Henderson back into the lane. So yeah, he had a very quick stop, but it was maybe a bit too quick, as maybe something didn't quite go his way there. So he's back in the lane to get some tweaks done to the car. But this is going to leave the veteran Norman Clark in the lead here, and trying something very different. Maybe he's banking on a second caution coming out, or he's just happier on the tyres when they're a bit hotter. Of course, tyre wear is not... It's going to be fairly heavy, but it's the tyre heat that is the killer in these things. So this could work out in Norman's favour if we have a bit of a shorter stint.
I was wondering if anyone would try a different strategy, and our wily old foxes are the one to do it.
Let's hope this works out better for him than it did me last night. So fingers crossed this works out for Norman. He's going to try something a bit different here and see how it goes. Only, as I said, only a few laps on those tyres, so they've still got a lot of life left in them, and they will have cooled down an enormous amount under these pace car conditions. So let's see how this plays out now. It's going to be Norman Clark starting with Toby Stent on the outside. Pace car pulls in as they pull it onto the long back straight here, of course. Long time to be keeping the car at about 90 kilometers per hour as they drive down this section of racetrack. It feels like an eternity to get into the restart zone here, especially when you're up front. But when it comes, you've got to be on it because it's on a corner and that can catch you out. Into the restart zone they go. Norman Clark gets away nice and early, actually. Catches the rest of the pack napping and gets away very well. So does Toby Stent, but Andrew Dyson has taken that advantage of that clean low line to the utmost and gotten ahead of Stent there and pulled himself up into second. It's Norman Clark leading with Dyson and Stent right behind him. Stent's not giving up that position yet. He's going to try his best to fight it out with Andrew Dyson as they come through here for lap 45 of 150 here tonight for round number 36 here at Phoenix. Dyson makes a nice lunge on the inside as those fresh tyres start to pay off, and look at the grip levels they've got coming out of the corner as they surge their way underneath Norman Clark now and really take advantage of those fresher tyres. And you can just see that starting to hurt now. Those 20 or so laps on those tyres starting to show as the leaders pull out in front. It's Dyson with Stent, Pearson in at the lead. Matty Ray looking to make the move on Norman Clark now. And what he's got to hope for is just that everybody else gets their tyres up to temperature a bit quicker, starts to get into a hot range, and they can just start to struggle as well as him. As Dave Douglas looks to make the move on Matty Ray now, goes down to the inside, gets a nice line through the final set of corners. He's going to be able to use that dog leg now to his advantage. He'll have the inside line as well for turns 3 and 4. He's going to take a nice tight entry into there, and he's going to take underneath Norman Clark as well. 2 cars in 1 lap for Dave Douglas there, moving up into 4th position.
We see Dave really car start to come to life now. After his second pit stop, maybe he's just made another fine change to that car, and it's definitely looking a lot better than what it was in those first 2 stages, Carl.
Yeah, he seems a bit happier with it at the moment. He's definitely got the short run pace in that car. It's once it gets a little bit longer, we've not really seen a big long run here tonight. It's been interrupted a bit. But in a longer run pace, that's where he started to struggle. Will it be the same? We'll find out shortly. Stevie Dubbs looking to make the move on Norman Clark as well. Ruben Phelps goes underneath him. Jamie Nankervis makes the move low as well. And Stevie Dubbs, bit of a snap there for Stevie Dubb into the braking zone. He just saves the car. He's sort of caught up right on the high line, and Stevie Dubb looks to be running that slightly higher line tonight, and he seems to be more happy up there, which he is going to take advantage of now through 3 and 4 as he gets past Clark. Brenton Henderson looking to make the move as well. Up front, though, it is still Andrew Dyson and Toby Stent fighting it out for the lead. Not much between them, but Dyson's got a little bit of a gap here. He's going to be hoping to take advantage of that, try and run away a little bit from Stent, who got him on the racetrack last time out. Lost a couple of positions due to that pace car and going down pit lane. But he is really fighting it hard at the moment. And Dave Douglas has come alive in this stage of the stint as well. He's all over the back of Neil Pearson at the moment. Ruben Phelps sitting down in 6th position just behind JCW. Good recovery drive there from the 35, a track where he is very good, JCW. And he's shown it tonight after that moment with Douglas, finding himself sideways with Riley Curtis giving him a T-bone. But JCW has managed to work his way back up into the top 5 here tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and further back, another spot further back, Ruben Phelps, that car's starting to come to life too. So keep an eye on him for catching JCW. Stevie Dubb is hitting that outside wall. He's done it the last couple of laps coming out of turn 2 there. So just not quite comfortable with the way that car's set at the moment.
No, he's definitely struggling. He had leader's pace in the start of the race. We saw him right up there behind Neil Pearson, absolutely on pace, but it just seems he's gone a little bit in the wrong direction in the setup, and it is not working for him at this stage of the race. So he's going to be hoping for probably a caution in the near future, because that will at least give him the chance to sail it down pit lane and get that car fixed. Look at the rear; it's just sliding on him constantly. Just going into the corner there, maybe a little bit too much rear brake in the car. Because it's just not quite pitching into the corner how he wants it. It's breaking loose in the mid-corner occasionally. It's really not looking settled in the 98 at the moment.
Back up front, Carl, we've got JCW now closed right in on the back of Dave Douglas. He's actually trying to take that 4th spot away from him.
Could see fireworks here as JCW and Dave Douglas had a bit of a coming together earlier, and you've got to say Dave Douglas was probably slightly more at fault in that one. Just gave JCW a bit of a tap on the rear and caused him to sail around. So JCW is not going to be forgetting that one anytime soon, and will be putting all the pressure he can on the number 10 here tonight, which he is doing. He's looking to go down the inside here of Double D and work his way up into fourth and start putting pressure on Neil Pearson. Can't quite make the move, gets very close to contact there. Both cars just going a little bit sideways, and they are racing really hard. A bit of door rubbing here between the two, and JCW just has to ease out of that one for now. It will go back on the attack in no time, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've seen the lap before. JCW just get the nose down inside Dave's left rear quarter panel, and that made Dave move up track. So keep an eye out for that type of move again, with JCW to get that nose down the left side of the car and really move Dave up track.
And as that's going on as well, it's sort of mirrored between the two teammates, JCW and Toby Stent at the moment. They're both having their fights. Toby Stent's just falling off a little bit from Dyson, and they are really, really battling to get ahead of that car in front. But the car in front is just doing enough to keep them pinned down and just in an uncomfortable position where they can't make the move.
And we're coming up on the rear of Noddy Tompkins, so this could play a bit of a part in this race. Lap cars, we've been fairly good so far. The guys have been moved out of the road, and we'll see how Noddy goes here. It looks like he's going to stay high and give the leaders that low line there.
Yeah, he looks like he's not going to be putting too much pressure on saving that car, but this could be the opportunity Stent needs to try and shuffle Dyson up and get him in an unenviable spot as they get past Noddy Tompkins. And you can see Stent is starting to think about that too. He is trying to get the car underneath Dyson at the moment, as Noddy keeps it up high out of the way here as they come through the corner, and couldn't take advantage of it that time for Toby Stent, but Dave Douglas just had to lose a little bit of speed there as he caught Noddy right on the exit of the corner. Just had to lift off a little bit. JCW wasn't quite close enough to take advantage of it, but that will be something to watch out for in this race as they start to close on the tail of the cars as they come flying through this field.
Well, we're closing in on half race distance, and we've seen two cautions, I think it is. So some changes done to the cars, and we've got three of the playoff guys in the top four cars. So won't be long before Rubens closes in and joins this battle, because he's slowly closing in on JCW.
Yeah, Ruben is having a good run there behind, and it just seems that car's a little bit better in the longer run of the pace. It's not quite got the short run bite that it needs, but once it gets a good 20 or so laps in, it starts to really close the gap, and that's what's happening right now. We're seeing the different sort of changes in the car, the different tweaks paying off here, and that's one of the fun things about this season. It's brought a slightly different edge to the racing, but it has brought us some really entertaining stuff as people have just tried something a bit different. It's not always worked, but when it does, it pays off in droves.
A little bit of a lull now as we approach that mid-race, but some good stats this year from guys. We've had two drivers that have done the whole season, or 34 rounds out of the 36. Neil Pearson and Ruben Phelps. So that's a nice little a stat for them to take out. Unfortunately, not everyone can do every race all season. It is a long season. It's a big commitment from these guys to back up 36 weeks.
Yeah, it's a long old season indeed, and it takes its toll on the drivers. And and its commentators as well and broadcasters. So we're looking forward to a little bit of a break and taking a drink after this one. But some really great racing we've seen this season. The obviously the big winners this year have been the DPR cars, Dyson and Pearson, taking out about 25 wins, I think, in total. They've really been on top four their form this season, and done a great job of getting those victories in the bag. And they've been running up the front all year long as well. You look at sort of their sort of top five finishes as well in percentages, and Andrew Dyson, 81% of his finishes have been in the top five this season, which is an incredibly huge amount of races, and it just shows just how hard he has been to beat, and really brought on some really good racing as well. And it's just so hard to beat Dyson in a championship, so having that little reset does change things up, as Ruben Phelps is making a move on JCW here and moving his way up into the top five. So all four championship competitors in the top five at the moment. Toby Stent is the one outlier in the group, up in second position, trying to put that pressure on Dyson, who's just started opening the gap up now. Ruben's got a bit of a gap to make up to Douglas as well, so some slightly larger gaps forming in this stage of the race as they're starting to chug along. And got to say, at the moment, Dyson is looking in control.
Yeah, he's definitely got control of this race, but we're still a long way to go. We've still got 75 laps to go. So, anything can happen, and it is stock car racing, and anything does and will happen.
Yeah, all it takes is a little silly mistake and it can drop you right out of the order. And it's so easy to do. Toby said keeping Dyson relatively close, only about 0.3 of a second between those two. And then it starts to get really tight as we go back, as Matty Ray's looking to make the move on JCW here, going down the inside. It's been a solid season for Matty Ray, fifth in the championship. He's going to be pretty happy about his year after some solid results this season, as Brad Fenley just getting lapped to go three wide for a brief moment there, as Stevie Dubb's coming alive now as well. And look, Stevie Dubb's car at the beginning of that stint looked really, really rough, but now it's starting to come in, so that's going to be some critical news for DPR, as they're looking to go three wide for a moment there across the dogleg. And Stevie Dubb has absolutely got the speed now. So obviously his car was not set up for that little run at the start, but now it's coming alive and one of the faster cars out there.
Yeah, it's definitely come alive. They've done 31 laps on this set of tyres. So you've got to say he's one of the better looking cars out there. It's not moving around all. JCW and Matty Ray come together there. Sort some door paint.
A little bit of door banging is never a bad thing in racing. It makes it more interesting for sure. But when you're behind the wheel, it does give you a bit of a spook as well. As JCW's just dropping off now, he's just not got the pace here. It's so close there. Stevie Dubb absolutely rubbing on JCW, just leaning on him into the corner entry. Those two leaning on each other. And Stevie Dubb now just takes advantage of that, gets underneath and just gets a beautiful run across the dogleg and moves himself up into seventh position.
Yeah, it was like JC was trying to hold Stevie Dubb up there, but it didn't work for him because Steve was able to get underneath him and make that move. That car, JCW's, definitely doesn't seem settled again. It seems to be starting to get a little bit loose. We've seen there a couple of laps ago when Ruben went to get past him. Stevie Dubb was, JCW was very loose in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, it looked a little bit, the car's looking like it's dropped off a bit. Meanwhile, we've got Norman Clark and Ben Henker out here. It's good to see one of the Cobalt cars back out on track. They're battling for 11th and 12th at the moment. Norman has done about 60 laps on these tyres, so he's gone a long distance on these tyres
Sorry,
and
Carl.
has gone well into this stint as Dave Douglas has made a move on Neil Pearson.
Yeah, Dave has been able to get past Neil, so a great move. And there wasn't a real big rush or anything. He was able to put that car underneath him and just drive past him.
So we just see here on the replay, just catches Pearson. Almost caught him napping, didn't he? And just absolutely drove the car down the inside and flies his way past. Dave's car looks to be coming good in this stage of the race as well, setting some decent lap times. Neil Pearson's just dropping off a bit. He's struggling at this stage.
Yeah, that car definitely doesn't seem settled now. He's lost a lot of speed. And the way he's dropping, he may fall into the clutches of Ruben Phelps, which is still there in 5th place.
And Ruben Phelps' pace a little bit faster than Neil Pearson's that last lap by a couple of milliseconds. Really, it's not much, but it does eat away over a stint, and he will be closing that gap slowly but surely. Fastest car on track is Andrew Dyson, but everybody else is sort of really closing that gap down. So it's nice to see that everybody else is starting to come alive now and really start to close the gap a little bit. And I wonder if this is DPR. They've just set their car to be a little bit better in the initial stages, and now it's starting to fall off for them as this race continues. And this is crucial news for everybody else because we still have 70 laps to go.
Oh, Neil Pearson, I'm just watching it again. Very loose through turns 4. Extremely loose. He was completely sideways almost.
I wonder if we'll see him come in to the pit lane in the near future because they can't make it to the end from where they stopped. So they'll all have to come in for another stop here, and it might be worth doing that in about 10 laps time because that will sort of put it equal distance from when you last stopped to the final stop. So you might see a couple of these cars that are starting to struggle come down the lane a little bit earlier just because they're starting to struggle a little bit here. They obviously don't want to take the tyres too long in their next stint, but they might come in now just to pay a little bit of price now and then hopefully hope that it pays off for them in the future. So up at the front, Toby Stent has kept the gap at about half a second between himself and Andrew Dyson. He has kept right on the rear side of Dyson all race long, putting him under enormous pressure here. And he started getting better lap times now, and he is putting him under pressure even more. So could we see a move for the lead happening very, very shortly between Dyson and Stent? The gap between Pearson and Phelps is closing as well, and quite a few battles on track now. There's nothing too close, but they're starting to shape up nicely for the end of this race. If we go green from here, Mark, I think we should see some fireworks.
Yeah, look, I think so. And if we get another caution in the next couple of laps or towards the end, it's going to be on because there's going to be some pushing and shoving and paint swapping, I think.
Yeah, I think we're going to see quite a bit of action on track. I'm just looking at sort of lap times and times in general, and the leaders are still setting very decent pace here in the 28.6s, sort of mid-28s. Norman Clark, he's 29.5, so he's about a second off the pace of the leaders, but he's done about 70 laps on those tyres now. So that's also really useful information here. He's not that far off the pace from some of the other cars in front of him. So the tyre drop-off in wear value is not huge in that respect. So he could well come into the pit lane in the next couple of laps to do his final stint on those tyres and keep it equal distance to what he did in the first run. And if he comes in a good 10 or 20 laps before everybody else, he's going to make up a huge amount of positions just by running that bit faster than the rest. So be interesting to see if Norman pulls it into the lane in the very near future. I would probably expect him down the lane in the next 2 to 3 laps, in all honesty, but we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, remember, Carl, we've been told around 75 to 80 laps on a tank of fuel. That would have been extended for Norman with those couple of caution laps, but yeah, those tyres would have to be really hurting at the moment. Just back to Lachlan Urquio, the guy that got mixed up in that early accident. He's only just gone 2 laps down, so he's done really well to stay a lap down until mid-race, past mid-race.
Oh, Brenton Henderson in the 81 having a huge accident across the infield, and that's ended him up in the lane. That car is going to be in for some major repairs. Let's see if we can get a replay on this one. It almost brought out a caution flag. It just got loose going across the dogleg, heavy up into the wall, and then it spat him down into the low line, and well, that was that. So he sort of got loose across the dogleg itself, and it spat the car up on the high side, and he's gone heavily down low. And luckily, the car didn't bounce back up onto the track, because otherwise that would have been a yellow flag indeed. So got lucky not to see a caution flag there, and I'm sure all the rest of the drivers are cursing that fact.
Yeah, they'd be all looking for a caution to get in. This place is another one that you really can't take your eyes off anything. So anyone that knows and does the longer races know that you normally have a drink bottle or something there where you might be able to grab a drink, but here you don't really get a chance to just have that break.
Ooh, Brad Fenley's just lost it as well, going through the corner. He just saves it in time and just stops a caution from happening. He's just getting passed by the leaders, actually. And I wonder if he's just got a bit offline as Dyson's gone past. He's got on to that low line a bit too early. It's upset the car, and big old slide there for Brad Finlay. And that will be needing some new tyres, and he's in the pit lane as well. Norman Clark, he's been in for his stop now. So Norman Clark's made his pit stop, and now he's out on fresh tyres. Let's hope that we run green from here, because this will be really helpful for Norman's race if it does.
Yeah, and while we were watching that replay, we've had a position change. Ruben Phelps has been able to get past Neil Pearson and has now moved up into 4th.
That is crucial for the championship race and the race itself. Nice job from Ruben Phelps. And got to say, those SRM cars are looking pretty decent in this long run. Matty Ray is right behind him at the moment and is keeping pace with Ruben Phelps. So the DPR car's looking to just be struggling a little bit, at least Pearson, struggling a little bit at this stage. And he's probably going to want to follow the setup of Stevie Dubb and Andrew Dyson now, because his has not really worked out for him.
No, definitely not. And those SRM, sorry, a blank there, have really worked on those setups this week, and yeah, they've definitely looked like they've come alive. They look like they're the most settled car out there at the moment.
Yeah, they are looking very good indeed, barring Dyson and Stent up the front. They're looking some of the best cars out on track at the moment, and it is going well for them. So let's see, when do the leaders decide to pull it in? Will somebody try and get the undercut working? Who will try and get the overcut? What is going to be the plan here for the final stint for these guys? You imagine that taking it as long as possible and just hoping for a caution would be one of the smart decisions. Steve Dubb in the pit lane now, as well as Jamie Nankervis. So I think we're starting to see guys that they're at that half distance for the tyre life. I think they're starting to go, yeah, now is the time to do it. So the longer they leave it out there, the worse it's going to get now. And it might be worth just coming in this stage, but a late caution could absolutely ruin your race here if a couple of people stay out.
Well, you definitely don't want to be in pit lane if a caution comes out, as we've seen with last week. I believe it was Lachlan got stuck in pit lane. He got just into the lane just as the caution came out, and that's seen him a lap down last week. So looks like Pearson's in. Looks like Pearson is in pit lane.
Not too shocked by that one. He was struggling with the car. So this is going to be the right call for his race, I think, and probably the right decision, because he was really struggling with that vehicle. Toby Stent's pulling it in now as well. Late decision from Stent. He pulls it into the lane 2 from second place. So this is going to be the call for everybody. They're going to have to start deciding to bring it into the lane to get this race underway.
Oh, Pearson has made a boo-boo in the pit box. He's gone too far forward and had to reverse.
Such a painful mistake to make. Easy mistake, but a painful one to make, especially in a green flag stop. Could lose him a couple of seconds on track and possibly drop him behind Matty Ray in the standings, and almost drops him behind Stevie W, who you see closing in on Neil Pearson there. Ruben Phelps has pulled it into the lane, as we see Neil Pearson and Joshua Carroll-Walden battling on track, but that is for a lap position, not track position. Stent exiting the lane now. When does Dyson decide to pull it in to the pit box? When does Dave Douglas, Maddie Ray, Joshua Carroll-Walden and Ben Henker, they have stayed out and staying out a little bit longer, and well, a caution flag here could absolutely change the way this race runs.
Yeah, most definitely.
As the sun starts to set here in Phoenix, Arizona, as Dyson pulls it into the lane. So Andrew Dyson pulls it into the pit lane, and that's going to leave Dave Douglas out on track, and he will lead it for a lap here. But as the sun starts to set, the track's going to start to cool. That's going to change how the car feels and how the car reacts as well. So you've got to change the way the setup handles that too. So all these little things are going to be crucial for this race. And, well, if I'm Dave Douglas right now, I'm going to stick it out as long as possible and just see if a caution flag flies.
Yeah, if I was Douglas, I'd stay out until you had
into the lane now. So Douglas and Matty Ray both pull it into the lane. And that's going to lead Joshua Carroll-Walden into the lead of this race.
Be interesting now that this final pit stop's done, whether Phelps has got anything for Pearson, because Pearson's been able to get back in front of him. So the gap's staying steady at the moment. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens at the end of this tyre run or the fuel run.
Toby Stent's managed to jump Dyson with that pit stop. Those fresher tyres just got him up ahead and built him a fairly nice lead, actually, ahead of Andrew Dyson. So that is critical for him. Joshua Carroll-Walden still sticking it out just in case there is that late caution. He is seeing what he can do in this run.
And Douglas has come out in between Pearson and Phelps. So this battle is on here.
Fight for the championship, really. These guys absolutely battling it out, and this is all 3 of the 4 championship contenders fighting it out on track. Ruben Phelps, Neil Pearson and Dave Douglas all battling it out at the moment. This is for 4th, 5th and 6th in the race, and all different tyre lives as well. Dave Douglas on the freshest set of tyres. His tyres are just coming up to temperature now, so he has had a couple of horrible laps where the tyres have been cold and not quite there, but now they'll be nice and warm and up to race pace. Ruben Phelps, who's done about 5 laps on those tyres, but they're nice and up to temperature, and Neil Pearson, who's done about 7 laps on those tyres, where they'll start to drop off a little bit sooner. So this is the real fight for that, second in the championship at the moment, because Andrew Dyson is up ahead of these 3 cars.
Yeah, Dyson's 10 seconds up track in front. So for anything to happen, Dyson's got to make a mistake, or we need a caution to close this all up again. And if we do get that caution, I would say it's going to be on.
Yeah, it will be all about that short run pace if the caution flag flies here tonight. And yeah, it could be a real tough fight at the end. The aggression levels will be turned up all the way to 11 from all of the drivers, I'm sure, but those championship drivers as well will be wanting to be aggressive as possible, but also trying to conserve their position. So it's a real tough little fight. And this is turning out to be a fantastic battle between Pearson, Douglas and Phelps at the moment. Douglas drops down to the inside line now. He's managed to work his way down below Ruben Phelps. And this seems to be the line where Dave Douglas thrives. He's going to see if he can make this one work now, get ahead of Ruben, which he's almost done at the moment. He's just a nose ahead as it stands. Phelps is going to get a better run out the corner here. But Dave has got good exit speed. He's got those fresher tyres, remember, that just gives you a little bit of an extra launch out the corner, and he's using it to his advantage as Douglas makes it up into 5th position. And the fight continues. Ruben Phelps looks to drop low now, and is going to try and put Douglas back under pressure, but they are very much getting it into this battle.
And just behind, we've got the driver in 7th, Stevie Williams. He's slowly but surely closing these 3 in front of him. So this will turn into a 4-way battle very shortly, I'd say.
Dave Douglas looking to make the move on Neil Pearson.
Dave got very sideways down through that dog leg. Just come off the track across the dog leg at the wrong angle, and that's seen him get crossed up.
Let's see here on the replay of that moment as he just got on there, just got a big jump on the car, and through they go, flying past the other two flying past, and all that hard work that Dave Douglas did to pass Phelps has gone adrift. Meanwhile, up the front of the field, Joshua Carroll-Walden's lost the lead of the race to Toby Stent. Now he's lost second to Andrew Dyson. Won't be long until we see JCW coming down the pit lane, I am sure. But Toby Stent, in the lead of the race, has got only a marginal gap behind him now. Dyson's managed to close the gap to Stent in this stint. So they are really battling hard up at the front for this race win.
Yeah, definitely. I know both those drivers will want the race win, and especially Dyson. He won't want to take the championship with a second place. He'll want that top step.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be he's going to be really, really on it, and those two are going to be battling it out, I am sure, as this battle continues. And look at Douglas, he is all over the back of Phelps now, and this fight continues on. Dave Douglas will be ruining that mistake, of course, and really dirty on himself, but it didn't lose him too much time overall, and he is right back on Ruben Phelps' tailgate and pushing him for all he can. And this has given Neil Pearson a little bit of a reprieve, let him have a little bit of clean air behind him, and just allowed him to relax a bit in this race.
Yeah, definitely. Just add a lift off the gas just ever so slightly. Let those tyres cool. So when these two do get back to him, as we talk about him, he's into the outside wall there, out of turn 2. Just taking that chance to let these tyres cool ever so slightly.
Phoenix is a place where you can just give that wall a slight glance, just that little touch, and not lose any speed. But you've got to, it's just got to be the lightest of glances, and you do get a lot of lap time from it, just hanging it out, especially out of 1 and 2. Just giving that wall a little bit of a nibble, because it just gives you that little bit of extra track run that you get. But you've got to be so cautious of it. It's so easy to take a little bit too much wall, as Douglas did there, and just drop yourself down a little bit, lose some of that momentum. As we see JCW working his way back up through the field, he has lost a lap to these guys, but he is getting it back very quickly on those fresh tyres. His tyres have only done about 2 laps, whereas everybody else is almost 20 laps into their stint. As Douglas makes the move on Phelps again, down the inside goes the number 10 on the 06. Side by side as they come across the dogleg once more into turns 1 and 2. And Douglas gets on the brakes nice and late, gets his way forwards, and he's going to slide up in front of Phelps here and move his way back up into 4th position.
A nice little move there by Douglas. Took his time, got back up, realised where he made the mistake last time, and he changed his line to come off the track through that dogleg ever so slightly, and that just gave him the run that he needed.
Now he's going to be closing the gap on Neil Pearson and hoping to get his way back up to 3rd position, and this will be a entertaining battle when it comes in. Meanwhile, up the front, leader Toby Stent still in the lead, about 0.4 ahead at the moment of Andrew Dyson with 30 laps to go. It is going to be a battle to the finishing line between these two. Toby Stent will not give an inch, I am sure. Never does on track, and this fight will be entertaining once they close up. Not much difference between the tyres either. Toby Stent's done 21 laps, Dyson's done 18 laps, so slightly in Dyson's favour. But as we said, it's more so the heat than anything else that reduces the competitive nature of these tyres on this track.
Yeah, the track would have cooled down just that ever so slightly now, so those tyre life will be a little bit longer. But it's still got to be careful on how you drive this track.
Yeah, they've also got a little bit less fuel in the car as well on this stint. They wouldn't have needed to take up a full tank of gas. So that will be another thing that will help those tyres, just give them a little bit more of a competitive nature. But you still can put too much into them and pay the price here at Phoenix. And they are both putting all they can into these tyres at the moment. Absolutely flying out there. Yeah,
and we can see the sun's almost down now, and the lights are slowly starting to take effect on the track. So we won't be long enough. We may see some night racing, but I think the way these guys are going, they're going to beat the full strength of the lights.
Yeah, it'll be just in that gloom of dusk that we will finish this race and this championship. And currently it's Andrew Dyson leading the championship 4, and he is looking good to take out the double here in the ANZCAR Cup. Only 26 more laps to go, but can he take the victory as well tonight? That's going to be the big question. Of course, Neil Pearson, Dave Douglas and Ruben Phelps are doing everything they can behind in 3rd, 4th and 5th. They've got 12 seconds to make up on this pair, and it's not looking like that's going to happen, unfortunately, unless we see a caution flag fly. But they are battling for best of the rest at the moment, and I'm sure a couple of those drivers would be pretty happy with a 2nd place finish in the series. So we come up to lap 24 to lap 126, 24 to go here as they come flying past Jamie and Curvis, and it's still up the front. This battle between Stent and Dyson that is one of the closest on track, and they are really battling this car and absolutely going for it. They seem to be sort of almost in equal setup for their pace at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just watching further back. Pearson and Douglas coming up on Brad Fenley to get past him. Phelps has dropped off in that battle pack. He's now dropped back 4 seconds. So I think he's done for the night. He'll take 5th place in the race if he can stay there and doesn't fall back into the clutches of Stevie Williams. But the battle here for the final step on the podium is definitely heating up.
As they're side by side now for the lead of the race, Andrew Dyson getting down the inside of Toby Stent. Stent should have a better run out the corner here, but Dyson is putting him under all kinds of pressure as they come into 3 and 4. And again, Stent should have a little bit of a better run out the corner. Absolutely close to each other. Stent takes the higher line here. He's going to try and get a better run out the corner here as Dyson dips down onto the dog leg. And Dyson gets his way through, slides the car up in front of Stent, gets a little bit loose, and that's giving Stent the opportunity to get back on Dyson. Dyson just took a bit too much of the tyre there, got it a little bit too hot, and it came back to bite him. Toby Stent remains in the lead.
Oh, it's definitely heating up for the top three. We've got a great battle there for the lead, and we've got a great battle for third and fourth also, Carl. So it's a matter of where to look here again tonight. These guys are some of the best in Australia and New Zealand, and they are definitely putting on the show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, Joshua Carroll-Walden is working his way back up through the field. He's just got past Norman Clark. Up into 9th position goes JCW. He's got about 10 seconds to make up on Jamie Lankervis now for P8, and that will be, I think that will be a relatively close battle at the end of the race. So what can JCW do here in that car? Meanwhile, Douglas is putting Pearson under all kinds of pressure, darting left, darting right, really making him look in his mirrors, making sure he keeps himself distracting Neil Pearson almost, because he wants to put Pearson under all the pressure he can to move himself up that extra position into third. Yeah,
definitely. And look, I'd like to see Dave get up there on the podium because he's a privateer. He's got no backing from other teammates or anything. He does everything himself. So it'll be a big what's the word I'm looking for, Carl?
Scout.
Yeah, for if he can get up on that final step of the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be great to see Dave up there and finishing second in the race as well, just to sort of bag himself. The second best finisher for tonight would be a huge achievement for him, for a fantastic season for Douglas. The podiums have been few and far between, but he's been very consistent inside the top 5 and really racing well this year. Just as you said, it's just been very tricky for any of the solo runners out there this year to battle it out against some of these big teams who have got some very impressive drivers in their books. We look at DPR and Natara, and beating those guys has not been an easy feat, but Dave Douglas has done it all season long to get himself up into this chance of a championship run here tonight. So he's going to be delighted with his performance tonight, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, now with 15 laps to go, who wants to see a caution?
Well, I'm sure quite a few people would not mind a caution. Jamie Lankervis would very much like to see a yellow flag fly, as that will get him back on the lead lap. Toby Stent and Andrew Dyson probably don't want to see a caution flag. They've got a nice solid lead over the rest, but I'm sure Dave Douglas would not mind a yellow flag being flown.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask both you and Matt, 15 left to go, do you want a caution or do you want to stay on these tyres? And if you do get a caution, do you come in and take your final set of tyres?
I think if you're anyone other than Andrew Dyson, you want a caution.
Yeah, I agree with that. And look, tyres, it's 100% necessity at this stage. They've done about 30 odd laps, almost 40 laps on these tyres. They need fresh ones. So if the caution flag flies, I don't think we'd see. We might see somebody like Matty Ray or Stevie Dubb taking the chance and staying out on those old tyres, just in case there is a green white checker situation or a couple of other cautions. But everybody else will be in the lane for tyres at this stage.
Fair enough. I know I'd be in for tyres.
Even without the caution, in all honesty. Yeah, that's it. Even without the caution, I think I'd be coming in for tyres just to get a bit of a rest and take a bit of a drink, I think, because it's absolutely right what you were saying earlier, Mark. Phoenix is such an awkward track. You only have that little short dash down the back straight where you can actually take a drink, where you can take a quick swig of water. Everywhere else, you're constantly steering, and it's so easy to lose the car. I mean, I've done it a number of times in practice sessions where I've quickly taken a swig of water when I'm doing just a run to work out tyre wear, going across the dogleg, and just with one hand off the wheel, you take a big slap, and you almost have a big crash as Dyson gets right up against the wall that time, gives it a little scrape going into turn 1, and is now mounting his attack back for the lead of the race. So we are back on for this battle for P1. So Dyson is going to be doing all he can to get back up there, but Toby Stent at the moment is answering him every time. Now Dave Douglas behind is looking to make a run on Neil Pearson. That fight for third position is still very much on. Neil Pearson gets a bit of a tail waggle coming down the back straight, and that's going to close the gap again to Dave Douglas, who is sitting right on his rear bumper at the moment. They both get squirrely getting into the dogleg section. They both lose time there. Neil Pearson just got away a little bit better that time, though.
Yeah, it's definitely a fight here for that minor last place on the podium. Both these cars look like they need some tyres under them.
We saw this with Neil Pearson last time out. Once he got to this stage of the stint, it really started to fall off for him. He has done an extra couple of laps on these tyres compared to Dave Douglas as well. So is Neil Pearson struggling here as the tyres start to fall away and the long run starts to kick in? The car is not looking as bad as it did last time round, though. So obviously he's fixed a few of those problems, but it's not quite enough at the moment to really keep him from running away from Douglas, who is putting him under all kinds of pressure.
We'll see what happens here once they catch these lap cars. If Dave can force Pearson up in and block him in the one behind one of these lap cars, he's going to have that good run. But we can see him now really working that high line, and that seems to be working for him. He's got the run down the back straight.
Really smart driving from Dave there. He just pinched Pearson tight, and it just caused those rear tyres just to light up on him going into that little straight section, Mark.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Pearson was able to get his nose in front back again. So now Dave's going to try and work on this. Do we see a Days of Thunder move? Go for the outside, then switch back on the inside.
We could see some Days of Thunder happening here tonight.
Well, we fight 6 laps to go. It's got to be soon because they are running out of laps to do anything.
Not far to go here now, and that battle for third place will be, I think, the closest on track up front. The gap is pretty stable, about 0.4 of a second between Stent and Dyson, and it's not really been closing that gap at all. So I think that the battle for the lead has sort of gone off a little bit. Dyson might go for the attempt for the last battle approach on the last couple of laps. He's just going to ease the tyres off, ease the car out a little bit here, and then go for the big attack in the closing laps, I am sure. Josh Carroll-Walden's made his way up into 8th position, just ahead of Jamie Nairn Curvis. So that's been a good run from JCW tonight, who's has a horror season. You have to say it's been a fairly decent season, but he's had some horror moments in it, unfortunately. But tonight he is back on form for sure. The battle for third position is still on, however, as Pearson and Douglas really battle it out. Douglas trying to take a higher line here, should get a better run out the corner, just gets a little bit tail happy, loses that momentum again, can't quite make the move on Neil Pearson.
And we see there on that move that he tried to move, he just touched that outside wall. So he's definitely trying everything. I think he's just going to have to throw it down. If he wants to get past, he's going to have to just really throw it in there and hope for the best.
I think it's going to be a bit of a lunge to get past Neil Pearson, but up the front, Toby Stent has held out the lead. We've got 2 laps remaining. less than that as they will get to the line this time round, and it is quickly closing in on the end of tonight's race. And Toby Stent has come back in a cup car with a vengeance. Some good runs every time we've seen him this season, but tonight has been one of his best on the asphalt track as he keeps himself ahead of Dyson, but he's got the one lap to do it more as he gets through turns 1 and 2. Nice run through the corner. He needs to keep the car defensive now because Dyson's going to put him under all kinds of pressure on this last lap. Dyson clips the wall. That's going to be his attack over and done with. And that is going to give it to Toby Stent tonight, who will come across the line here and take double victory at Phoenix in the Xfinity and the Cup car. Andrew Dyson takes the slide through the finish. Neil Pearson, Dave Douglas, they are fighting it out hard. Douglas can't quite make the move on Pearson. No, it's going to be Neil Pearson coming home in 3rd spot tonight. Dave Douglas comes home in 4th position and will seal up his season in grand fashion. Ruben Phelps comes home in 5th. Stevie Dubb in 6th. And 7th will be Matty Ray. Joshua Carroll-Walden comes home in 8th. 9th for Jamie Curvis. Norman Clark in 10th. Good night for Black Arrows and for Notari as well.
Yeah, what could have been for Toby Stent. You know, the last 2 races he's been in, he's taken the W, and it's just a shame for him not to be being able to contest the whole season.
Yeah, absolutely. But, it's great to see him out here again and getting another W next to his name for the season. A fantastic run for him this year. And we hope to see him back next year stronger and with a full season's attack for him. But it is Andrew Dyson taking the championship victory here tonight for himself and DPI. He's going to take the title 2 years in a row. The 41 brings home the championship here tonight, and I'm sure he is going to be delighted with that. It's been a tough season in his fight with his teammate Neil Pearson, but tonight it is Andrew Dyson that comes out on top.
Yeah, look, DPR's got to be happy. 2 cars on the podium. SRM would be a little bit disappointed that they couldn't get one up there. Same with Dave Douglas, you know. It's so close for him to get 3rd spot in the race tonight.
Yeah, I think Dave will be slightly disappointed, but he'll also have loved that battle with Neil Pearson at the end. It was a really decent battle for him throughout the race, and he will be delighted with that one as Dyson's going off on the exploration to get it up onto victory lane and onto the podium here at Phoenix. And we'll do that in some style as well, giving it a little burnout in the victory lane. Just enough room here for a donut. And can Dyson get the full donut in? We'll find out in a couple of seconds. No, he's just going to burn it up. But a fantastic season for Andrew Dyson, and he really did well this year. Absolutely deserved a 2nd championship in a row here for the ANZCAR Cup. But Toby Stent comes home with the victory tonight, denies Dyson from taking the double here, and he is going to be delighted with that one, I am sure. Let's run through the finishing order one last time. So it was Toby Stent taking the win ahead of Andrew Dyson. Neil Pearson comes home in 3rd with Dave Douglas 4th. 5th for Ruben Phelps. Stevie Dubb comes home in 6th. Matty Ray in 7th. 8th for Joshua Carroll-Walden. 9th for Norman Clark, for Jamie Curvis, and 10th for Norman Clark. Ben Henker comes home in 11th. He'll be pretty happy with that one in the Cobalt Racing team. With Lachlan Acquio in 12th. Tough night for him. Brad Fenley, 13th. Brenton Henderson, 14th. Had a screen failure, unfortunately, that caused that accident. Noddy Tompkins in 15th. Riley Curtis, 16th. 17th for Phil Otto, and Derek Jacobs, our American compatriot, out early, unfortunately, down in 18th spot.
Well, that's it for us for the in Cup cars. But what a great season. Geez, I think there's too many memories, too many good memories to pick one for this year, Carl.
No, absolutely. It's been a fantastic season. And what we'll do is we'll start off with our third place finisher for DPR, who have had a season to remember for sure. And it's at 62, Mr. Neil Pearson. Neil, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on third place here tonight at Phoenix.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty bummed about everything. I had nothing, and yeah, to be 16 seconds off the lead is pretty demoralizing right now. So I'm not too keen.
I can imagine. I run through this quickly with you. Looks like it was a bit of a struggle in the long run for you tonight.
Yeah, I just couldn't get the car to behave on the long run, and I think I went wrong way with the changes. I made it heaps better on that third run, but that final run, but it was better, but it just still wasn't enough. I really had to work to keep Dave behind me. You know, he did really well. So, but yeah, that far off the lead, it's bumming.
No, absolutely. Well, thank you for giving us a very entertaining battle there with Dave at the end. It did not look easy keeping him behind you, though.
It was not. He was trying. You know, he was able to get inside of me a couple times, but thankfully he was just a bit too loose. He couldn't get the drive off, and one time he got high, but couldn't do anything with it. So you know, I think it was like 30 to 40 laps. I think we battled for. You know, so that was good fun. You know, it was really tight. You know, and I was trying to do everything I could to keep him behind, just simply because if anything happened with Daiso at the front, I'd be in front. You know, and thankfully for Daiso, and you know, he drove the perfect race, got second, and grabbed the championship.
Yeah. You say fortunately. I'm imagining in your mind, unfortunately for him, it didn't happen at the end. But look, congratulations tonight, Neil. Well done indeed on a really strong season. Coming home second in the championship race tonight, unfortunately, but still second place with your teammate. It's been a fantastic season for both of you, and for DPR, you must be delighted with how the team's performed this year.
Oh, definitely. You know, we've definitely been the team to beat this year, and you know, Daiso and myself, you know, we've had some good battles all year, and it's been a lot of fun. You know, and even when Dave or Ruben or Matty Ray or anyone else has jumped up and you know brought it to us, it's been a lot of fun. You know, and it's definitely the best season I've ever had in ANZCAR. You know, it's consistency, no bans, no wrecking anyone. So, you know, clean up my act, and you know, I got second because of it. You know, no stupidity, and so I'm pretty happy with myself with that. And overall, definitely been a good year, and I'm happy with second, but I'm still a little bit disappointed to be that far off.
As I can only imagine, mate. Look, congratulations tonight. Before I let you go, quick shout out to any personal shout outs you want to make tonight.
Yeah, you guys for the broadcast and ANZCAR for the league. I'm not sure where they're going next year, but hopefully it's something interesting. And Linda, my now wife, you know, a couple months, so she's been there supporting me the whole way through the year, and it's been really helpful. So yeah, and obviously Daiso for the win, and Dave and Ruben for making the championship 4 and making a race of it.
Look, great stuff. Congratulations, mate. Well done indeed. Now you can take Linda out for some evening meals and some nice date nights on a Thursday night instead of having to race a car.
That's it. We'll go out a few times.
Enjoy yourself, mate. Congratulations again. And I'm sure we'll see you back in the booth next season.
Thanks, dudes. Have a good one.
Neil Pearson there for DPR, coming home in third position tonight, second in the championship. Next up, we'll bring up our race winner, a little bit out of order tonight because of finishing positions, but we'll bring up our race winner now for Natari. It's Mr. Toblerone himself, Toby Stent. Tobes, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on another victory here in the ANZCAR Cup.
Oh, let's go. How good was that? Oh, I am so knackered after that. I am sweating and my hands are aching and my legs are aching. And, whew, that was hard work. But yeah, got there in the end.
The defence behind the driver behind you was excellently done. You absolutely pulled it off tonight, but it did not look easy to hold that position.
No, I just spoke to Daiso and he said he was going for it. So I mean, obviously he did have to think about the championship a little bit, but he did say he was trying, and I was just flat out just doing everything I could every lap. So yeah, man, I don't know, just hanging on, and at the start, like I sort of did something different with the car that I haven't usually done before after that first pit stop, and then I was just sort of waiting for DPR to drive away. And then, like, I think maybe I was behind Pearson after that first stop, and then sort of got past him, and then hung with Dyson. And I was just waiting for them to drive off into the distance, and it never happened. So that was like, okay, sweet, might have a little shot here. And yeah, just the pit worked out. Luckily, sort of got the undercut there, and didn't get caught by a yellow, which usually happens when I pit early. Every time I get stuck with a yellow flag and have to drive back through. So yeah, no, just everything went my way, I guess, and car was good, and yeah, like, it was intense. So that was, yeah, I'm knackered.
2 nights in a row with victories at Phoenix. That's not a bad feeling indeed. Tonight, obviously, a standout performance from yourself. It's great to see you up there at the front once more.
Yeah, no, I just decided last minute to jump in the Thunder race last night, and I hadn't raced those cars since the same race last year, and all I remembered was they get really tight, so I was just trying to slide it as much as I could so it didn't get tight, and then yeah, got lucky at the end with a couple of pit stops and put some right sides on to keep her nice and loose, and she was good. And yeah, tonight I don't know, man, I just didn't expect to run with those guys, but yeah, I've been practicing at night a little bit, not necessarily this race or these cars, but just I've been, trying to take my mind off everything. So I've had some random midnight sessions, just trying to get better and better and tweaking settings on the wheel and the pedals and all that. So yeah, it's a little too late, I suppose, for the championship and all that. But no, it's cool. It's a good race. Had a cool battle with Daiso as well. So we're both respectful and racing hard. So it's always good to race with him. It's just a shame. Usually he's 20 seconds up the road, so you don't get to battle. Because when you do get to battle, it's awesome with those guys. So.
I know, it's a pleasure when you get to battle with the top running guys, especially if you get to swap some paint during the race. We'll carry on with tonight's race, though. Again, congratulations on a fantastic win. It was a shame not to see you through the whole of the season, and unfortunate not to see you in the chase itself, but you more than made up for it these last couple of races.
Yeah. Obviously, just hard with everything going on to get the time to do practice, dedicated sort of practice for the races with all the setup changes and stuff, right? Like when it's not a fixed setup, it's a little harder because you sort of, if you don't figure something out, you're just going to be left for dust, right? Those DPR boys and those guys don't muck around. So if you're 1% off, they're just going to drive off into the distance. But yeah, no, I mean Miami. I really wanted to do Miami because I love that track and that was fun. Got to rock around the High Line the whole time, and and then obviously thought I'd come in for one more hit out for the last round, and yeah, I don't know what to say, man. I'm actually surprised. It was probably as surprised as everyone else. So, but no, it was cool. It was good fun, and like I said, it's awesome getting to race right close there with Daiso. All the times we have got to close together, we've had really good racing. So yeah, it's been a shame those guys have been up the road, but yeah, hopefully next season maybe get a chance to do it a bit more.
Absolutely. We look forward to next year, but congratulations for a fantastic 2023 Cup season, mate. Well done indeed on the win here tonight. Before I let you go, though, the usual thing, the love for shout out, people, sponsors, go for it.
Yeah, cool. No, just a shout out to the wife, first and foremost, because she's been accommodating with getting me home in time to be able to run these races, which is good. And she's very supportive, so love her to bits. Our little boy Tommy, he's stand strong. He's doing what he's got to do, slowly getting bigger. So good on him. And they're just Natari. Obviously, the team didn't quite work out this year how he wanted. Obviously, Ed had some stuff come up. I've had some stuff come up. Dan's been really busy with his personal life as well. So it sort of wasn't quite the year we all hoped for. But obviously, thanks to Ed for bringing me on to drive with them, and then obviously all the other boys, Jamie, Josh. Normie there as well. There have been an awesome bunch of dudes, and it's just every time I get to jump on chat with them for a race, it's awesome fun. They're great dudes, and it's been cool. So shame we couldn't stick through the whole year. Obviously, slightly more important things than computer games, but it was awesome that I got to spend it with a cool group of guys, and a bunch of cool people on the track too. Had some great racing, and so it's been awesome.
All right, great stuff. Thank you so much, Toby. Always a pleasure, mate. Give our best to young Tommy as well. Hopefully he's doing much better than last time as well. It sounds like that is the case. But from all of us here, we'll wish you a good one and congratulations again on the win here tonight.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And thanks to you guys as well for doing the broadcast throughout the year and sticking with it. It's always a great watch to look back through. And yeah, looking forward to next season coming back. And yeah, I'm pretty amped up to try and do better next year. So we'll try and not get my ass kicked too many times next year.
Look forward to it, mate. Have a good one. See you next time.
Awesome. See you later. Bye-bye.
Toby Stent there for Atari. Absolutely delighted with that one. And finally tonight, a little bit out of order, our second place finisher, only good enough for P2 tonight, obviously, but the championship winner, it is Andrew Dyson for DPR. Dyson, welcome to the booth, mate. Congratulations on a very hard-fought P2. You were absolutely trying your best out there, we saw, but congratulations as well on the championship win here 2 times in a row, 2 years in a row for the Cup.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. It's really good. A lot of things to get through there because you just went through a whole lot of stuff. But I suppose we'll start with the race. Yeah, that was very good race. Couple of cautions through in there, long runs to the end, so I had a good mix of stuff there. Short runs, long runs. Didn't quite have what I needed for Tommy at the end there. Oh, Tommy. Jeez, I'm thinking of Tommy because he's just talking about it. Toby. Didn't have anything for Toby there, or his cheerleader Tommy. So had a go. I mean, I probably cooked the right rear tire off a little bit, trying to get to him. And then once I sort of got there, I knew I only had one shot. And then I wanted to clear him through sort of 1 and 2, and I couldn't do it because, well, I could do it, but I went in way too quick. Was loose, crazy loose. And then after that, I couldn't do anything. I had to try and stay as close to him as I could. And I mean, I think we were both fighting for our life there, like hanging on with the rear tire situation. But no, really good race, and probably one of Toby's best ever drives. So congrats to him. And yeah, for everybody else, thanks for a great year. It's been really fun. Numbers stayed reasonably strong for all the races, including the last 10 years. So that's really cool. Good to see. And yeah, we'll see what happens next year with this championship, I suppose. Of course, things are changing up, so keen to see what happens.
No, absolutely. A few changes for next season. We look forward to them. But this season, it's been dominant. Is the word to use for you? Really, it's been an absolute dominant year and fantastic run in the championship. You've obviously adapted well to the sort of the setup changes for these races, both yourself and Neil Pearson, and also your other teammates as well, like Steve Dubb and Ryan Jones, people like that who've jumped in. You've all done well this season. So obviously, you must have been pretty happy with how you went as a team.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as a team, it was really good. I think we're all pretty happy with how we went. I mean, Steve was pretty much on fire tonight. I didn't actually see where he ended up. I was so focused on what I was doing. What's that, 7th or so, or 6th. So that's really good. Well done, Steve. But yeah, everyone's had a good run. Neil obviously hung in there tonight to come home on a podium, or P3. So good job to him. But yeah, the changes thing, it's quite funny. You know, it kind of, I guess, on the surface looks like we're right on top of it, and you know, we know what we're doing and yada yada. But for me personally, there's always such a sense of uncertainty because you don't know whether if you've got it quite right, or whether someone else has found something else. So you never quite know. There's always a sense of, have I got this? Am I making the right changes? And then you don't know who's going hard, who's going, because it used to be like everyone's on exactly the same thing. So you knew who was using the tire where, going by what lines they were taking, how fast they were going. Once everyone puts in their setup changes, you don't really know who's doing what. It's a bit of a guessing game. So made it really interesting, that's for sure. And there was a few times there where some guys came along and caught us out with some cars that were really fast, and there was other times where, I don't know, we didn't make too many changes because we didn't need to, because the base setup was really good, such as Pocono, for example. So yeah, definitely mixed it up, made things really different. It was pretty interesting. But I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of guys this year who probably didn't race as much as we saw last year. So I don't really think you can say it was dominating when you got a lot of guys who probably aren't racing as much for whatever reason, things going on in their life and whatnot. But I still had to beat Neil damn bastard. He's taught me all the stuff I know, but he's still pretty damn good. So yeah, had to do the best I could to try and beat Neil. We had some quite a few good races there. He got me a few times, I got him. And Dougie really turned it on tonight, and Toby was really fast a few times during the year, Ed as well. And obviously he couldn't show up, one of the guys that couldn't show up all the time. So yeah, I mean, I'll take the races I can get. Oh, we can't forget Ruben as well. He was right there. And actually, Actually, low key, Josh Schultz was like the guy who was, yeah, he always went hard and did his different strat and all that sort of thing. But he was always low key, like there or thereabouts, ready to pounce. And then when that, me and Ed decided to have World War III coming out of turn 2 at Darlington, he was there to pick up the pieces. So yeah, it was some good racing all year round. Really good to be a part of.
Absolutely, it's been a great season to watch, and we've had some really fun, entertaining races from you guys. And of course, the first person you've got to beat is your teammate, and you've done that again. So that's always a good feeling.
Oh, it's funny when the only time you really should be worried about beating your teammate more than anybody is when you're first or second, and so that's probably why I crashed into him that time. But I mean, if you're ever third and fourth, fifth, sixth, even second or third, you've got other people to worry about. So yeah, I mean, it's a great privilege when you're first and second and you can race your teammate. That's what we're always hoping for, to be first and second. But when you're not, you're not really racing each other. That's for sure. You're worried about other guys.
No, well, speaking of worry, coming into tonight's round, because it was pretty much a dead shootout for this race. How much pressure did that put on you?
Well, similar to last year, really, where in that Ed was like first and I was second the whole time until things got mixed up at the end of the race. So kind of similar, but there was like two other guys in it, so it's like more or less. Oh, I can't think of the word I want to use, but there was just more sort of people who there was more people who had a chance to swoop in with a strat call or something. So you couldn't just play a one-on-one game. It was made it a bit harder. So but the race played out in a way where I had a bit of a gap and I could play to those guys, which I did. Probably cost me the win in the end with positioning and getting behind Toby, but it didn't matter in the end. I mean, I was trying to make sure I finished in front of Dave and Neil there, and Ruben as well, who's a little bit further back.
Look, fantastic job all year long, Daiso. Well done indeed, and congratulations on 2 championships in a row. Now it's time for all the shout-outs, all the love. Go for it, mate. You deserve it.
Well, I think I've spoken enough, so just quick one out to simrigs.com. They supplied all my gear and big supporters of me over the last couple of years, or 3 years or so, whatever it's been. So massive thanks to those guys, and enjoyed this hobby for the time I've been amongst it. So it's been great. And quick one to all the boys at DPR as well, for the work they put in and the good times we have together and all the laughing and the joking and the rest of it. And same goes for everyone in the ANZCAR league too. It's a pretty good league to be a part of. So hopefully it can kick on for a few more coming up.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you back next season. But for this year, congratulations once more, Daiso, and well done on the second tonight, but the championship victory overall.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks, guys.
Andrew Dyson, that for DPR Series champion for 2023. And, it's been a heck of a 2023 for all of us as well. So a big thank you to everybody for joining us for this race and every race through the year long. We still have some more action here on Performance E streaming though, so we're not going to do our yearly wrap up yet because we have the Australasian V8 Supercar E Series on for the next couple of rounds. And we look forward to bringing you all of the action there on the ovals for the V8s, where we will be at, Matt, next time.
Charlotte this weekend.
Thank you. Off to Charlotte, and that's going to be at signing race back on the ovals after the fun of Spa-Francorchamps. But a big thank you for the ANZCAR Cup team. Mark Johansson joining us for this season. It's been a pleasure, mate. We have had a pleasure having you on board as well. Thank you so much for coming along for all these races. And of course, Mr. Matt Hunter doing all the hard work in the background. It's always a pleasure to be working with him, and has done a fantastic job of all the graphics, all the fantastic stuff you see on screen. It's all Matt's magic. So big thank you to both of them indeed. But from all of us here, myself, Carl Wilkinson with it included, we'll wish you a good night and thank you for 2023 ANZCAR Cup season. And we look forward to seeing you for some more ANZCAR action next year. But don't forget to join us on Sunday night for the Australasian Supercar V8 Series.